Tuesday, 14 July, 2026. 3 Asia-Pacific AI stories before your first coffee. Beijing's Cyberspace Administration activates its anthropomorphic AI regulations on 15 July, imposing new rules on how generative AI systems present human-like personas, emotional responses, and social interactions to users. The rules land alongside a busy week across Southeast Asia. Malaysia has set 28 July to formally institutionalize its National AI Office. Singapore generative AI privacy consultation window is closing, and Vietnam is bringing its newly legislated AI governance machinery online. 4 governments moving in the same 2-week window marks one of the densest policy clusters the region has seen this year. Why it matters? Builders shipping consumer-facing AI products into China need to audit persona design, emotional simulation features, and any interface element that could be read as anthropomorphic before the 15 July effective date, because enforcement guidance suggests penalties will attach quickly. Malaysia's AI office institutionalization on 28 July creates a single regulatory counterpart for foreign vendors and investors, replacing the current patchwork of ministry-level contacts. Singapore's privacy consultation closing means the PDPC's final guidance on generative AI data practices will likely land in Q3, setting the template smaller ASEAN members tend to follow. The second-order effect worth tracking: if China's anthropomorphic rules force product redesigns, those changes will ripple into every market where the same model weights are deployed, effectively exporting Beijing's norms region-wide. So Hong Kong has become the default listing venue for Chinese AI companies, with more than 85% of firms going public in 2026 choosing the city over rival exchanges. The shift follows tightening U.S. listing curbs on Chinese tech, redirecting capital flows squarely through Hong Kong's equity markets. The numbers are substantial, roughly $44 billion raised in the first half of 2026 alone, a 5-year high, with 84 new listings posting average first-day gains above 60% and more than 400 companies waiting in the queue. Why it matters? Capital allocators tracking Asia's AI hardware and model layer now have a single concentrated venue to watch. Hong Kong's emergence as the gravity well for Chinese AI equity means liquidity, pricing signals, and governance standards for the sector will increasingly be set there rather than in New York or Shanghai. Builders relying on Chinese AI chip and infrastructure firms should expect tighter coupling between Hong Kong market sentiment and upstream supply dynamics. The second-order effect worth tracking is whether Western institutional investors, still cautious on governance and geopolitical risk, stay on the sidelines long enough for Gulf and Southeast Asian sovereign funds to lock in anchor positions, reshaping who holds influence over Asia's next generation of AI companies. Now, ASEAN's digital ministers have expanded the bloc's shared AI governance guide to cover generative AI, adding rules across roughly 9 policy areas, including transparency, data governance, and accountability. The 2025 update keeps the framework voluntary rather than binding, a deliberate design choice for a region that spans Singapore's advanced regulatory apparatus and much earlier stage economies like Laos and Myanmar. The guide now serves as the reference template that Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand are each adapting into domestic legislation. Why it matters? Operators building across Southeast Asia have been bracing for a patchwork of 10 incompatible national AI regimes, and this shared guide meaningfully lowers that risk. The voluntary structure means no single ASEAN penalty regime, but the convergence on common definitions and disclosure norms gives compliance teams a single baseline to design against, rather than 10. Builders shipping generative AI products region-wide should watch Vietnam and Indonesia most closely, as both are furthest along in converting the guide into enforceable national rules. The second-order effect worth tracking is whether this soft law convergence becomes the template ASEAN uses to negotiate mutual recognition with the EU AI Act, which would open a faster path for Southeast Asian AI exports into European markets. That is your AI in Asia briefing for today. Stay sharp, build well, see you tomorrow.